What a great privilege to stand here and see so many of you. First of all, thank you for these wonderful sessions. And actually, last 3-4 days, I have been kind of feeling the environment and have been very privileged to live, stay in this beautiful center and see so many of you and personally talk to some of you as well. So I hope to continue our discussions as and when we can. So thank you for, after a long week of work, coming and listen to a talk like this about life and death. Okay? I work for the British Armed Forces, mostly talking to soldiers, sailors, airmen and women across the British Isles and beyond. Actually, mostly, we prepare soldiers for death. And one thing we don't do is we do not prepare people for life. And I really do not know how many of you are, you yourself prepare yourself for life. From the day we are born, our parents ask us to go to a school and get some education. For what? To prepare for our life, okay? And then you go and get some education. And then they ask you, go to a university and get a decent degree. Then you will be ready for your life. And you do that as well, okay? And then the society asks you, no, that's not enough. Go and get a good job. Get married to a rich person, build a good house, do this, do that. Then you will be ready for your life. And you do all of that, don't you? We do all of that. And then what? The employer says, wait for the retirement to prepare for your life. Enjoy life. Right? You work, and you're waiting for your retirement to live. Isn't it? So what happens in your old age? You are in and out of the hospital. The doctors, do this test, that test, and the other. You have no time to live. Right? So, one day, let me see if I could get this. One day, Dalai Lama was interviewed by a journalist. Okay? He was asked, what surprised you the most about humanity? He answered in one word, man. Why man? Because he sacrifices his health in order to gain wealth. Then he sacrifices his wealth to recuperate his lost health. And he's so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or even the future. He lives, he never, he just lives as if he never dies. Then he dies having never lived. Does that ring a bell? Yeah? If you're already prepared for life and death, probably this will be redundant for you, yeah? This talk. Okay, you can leave now. Okay. Okay, so, but most of us, we keep actually postponing our, preparations for life. Or actually, what does that really mean to prepare for life? Okay, how many of you are really ready to live? Are you actually really living? Be very honest. Shakespeare said, "What's this life? It's full of care. We have no time to stand and stare." Yeah? So we're so busy running like a headless chicken. Yeah? Are we not? Probably. I mean, it sounds like, I'm actually talking to a wrong audience. Okay.
In a material world, until last month, I spent my life in making a living.
Yeah. So what it essentially means is we are preparing to live. I mean, in an ideal world, how would you live? Yeah. What would take a real good life? Yeah. Okay. So let's actually ponder over it. Yeah. So, okay. How do I go back? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what's the purpose of life? In everybody agrees on one thing. We got to be happy. Yeah? So what makes you happy? What makes us happy? You look like you have a smiley face. Of course, very good. Good. Then there is a happiness index, like, what is the percentage? Are you really, really happy? Or, well, sort of. But you know what the Buddha says? If you are a Buddhist, there's a one whole chapter in the Dhammapada. He says, Susukhang vata jivama verinesu averino, verinesu manuses. He says, a whole chapter. He says, if you are a Buddhist follower, you should be happy like it says happy indeed we live, we who possess nothing, we shall be, feeders on joy like the radiant gods. Radiant gods. Deva abhasara yatha. Okay? So your happiness should be kind of oozing out of you, like radiantly happy. Okay? What stops us from being not that happy? I can imagine after this talk you will be walking like giggling. Oh my God. This, like, okay. So, we all really want to be happy. Yeah? But Buddhism actually even talks about a better word than happy. I mean, happy is kind of a, it doesn't take in Buddhism. It's called contentment. Contentment. Yeah? Upeksha. Yeah? It's a kind of a higher level. Happy is kind of a bit of a lower level. Okay? So, Buddhists may not really show happiness outwardly, but they are content. They're kind of content with what they have. They're content with their life, content with the way they look, feel everything. Yeah, can you be that? You know, everything is good, content, perfect. Yeah? But you know, there is something about our brain. Yeah? Our brains are really not designed for us to be really happy all the time. You know, there's a new brain and old brain. The amygdala and the lower parts are not really kind of ready for that. Yeah? They keep producing, bless you, they keep producing adrenaline and cortisol. Yeah? So it's kind of responding to different things. So if you are operating at that level of the brain, perhaps, you are way away from being happy. And maybe you will, it'll take a couple of centuries for you to, achieve happiness. So this is why we got to get to our new brain, the frontal lobe, yeah, where all the activities are really taking place. Yeah? So, okay, the thinking mind. We all got a mind. Yeah? So how many thoughts do you produce a day? Roughly? Yes? Okay, let's call it 100,000. Somebody did a research, it says, 50 to 80,000. But let's say 100,000 thoughts. So out of 100,000 thoughts, majority of them are they positive thoughts? You wish. No. Over 80% of those thoughts are negative. Complaining. Oh, Yeah? And repeated daily. Yes. So therefore, happiness doesn't really, come naturally. This is why we got to talk about it. Okay? We got to talk about happiness. The mindfulness guru, who is the mindfulness guru? Professor John Kabat-Zinn. He said once something really, really interesting. He said, happiness is a skill. Happiness is a skill. So what does that mean? Happiness is a skill. So you have to choose to be happy. It doesn't naturally come to you. So you think, everything outside, help me to be happy. Not really. You got to choose and you got to make it happen. Yeah? So, in the ordinary world, what makes you happy? You have good food, drinks, travel, sun, fun, blah blah blah. Yeah, but in the Buddhist context, actually, it actually gets to the core of the problem very directly. Yeah. So the Buddha says there are 7 steps to be really, really happy. Okay, 7 steps. Okay, these are called bojjhangas in the Pali Canon. Yeah. So the 7. So we got to actually work on those 7. Okay. So what is the first one? Sati, mindfulness. Mindfulness. So, how mindful are we? What is mindfulness? There are many different definitions of mindfulness, and some people say, bringing your mind to this present moment on purpose, non-judgmentally, blah, 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 There's actually very kind of working definitions of mindfulness. But basically being in this moment. Yeah? Now, how many of you are here now? Okay. You might be thinking, what time is this going to finish? So, you're thinking of so many things, right? Okay. It didn't rain and blah, blah, blah. So many things going on in your mind. And this thinking mind never let us be happy. Yeah? I mean, we are human beings, not human thinking, doings. So basically, we keep on, our minds just run, and throughout the day you think, and throughout the night you dream, same thing. Okay? So, have you had a moment you were actually sitting down and still just drop into your own space, consciousness? So we really hardly get that opportunity. And that's why we need to practice. We need to actually, this is, so important. Yeah? In America, they did a research, about 45% of people are, throughout the day so unhappy, negative. Yeah? You can imagine why it is happening in America, right? Not in Malaysia, though. So, this is the nature of our mind. So we really got to train our mind. So sati is not just being, in this moment thinking. It's just that being aware of the thinking mind. This is the species-specific property. Only human beings apparently can do that. Not just think, but see the thinking mind from outside. Yeah? Is that amazing? So the Buddha helped us to remind us there is another way out. You could actually see your own mind. Okay? And that is sati. That's mindfulness. Not just, letting the thinking mind run. Okay? So, I was in America, in the Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, in a Goenka center. Actually, there are people from all over, like thousands, just come sit, meditate for 10 days, like starting from 4 o'clock in the morning till about 9:30 in the evening. And sit and meditate. So, I hated that actually. In my first read, I thought, you just open your eyes and everybody's like a statue sitting, and my mind is just rambling. Okay, so I wasn't happy at all. So anyway, but because of this few moments of stillness, when you sit and meditate, the mind picks up those silent still moments. And they are really precious. If you have meditated, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you don't. Okay? The still moment. When you are in that stillness, you know, every pore of your body becomes so light, pleasant. Okay? Piti. Yeah? So the fourth one, Sati Dhamma Vicaya Viriya Piti. Piti in Pali means happy. Okay? You really achieve some piti, and that is actually coming naturally to you. It's not you are forcing, you know, I'm trying to be happy. No, it actually comes so naturally. That stillness. If you haven't actually practiced that, come on Saturday. That's tomorrow. Okay? So after a few hours of meditation, hopefully, you will start feeling that stillness. Yeah? So, within that stillness, everything becomes so, possible. And then it leads to passaddhi, a full rapture. You're not just simply happy. The happiness really wrap you around. It's a higher level. And if you actually are too attracted to that, and then you lose all of it. Okay? But if you just, be with that and develop contentment. And this is very important. So happiness, it's something like you keep chasing it. The horse and the carrot. Okay, you just keep chasing it. You never achieve it until you let go of it. And then it really comes and embraces you. And that's called contentment. Yeah? So, one day a king came to the Jetavana and said, look, these monks, they just, in hundreds, they keep sitting still. And you guys look so radiant. What makes you, happy? And the Buddha says, Atitang nanu sochanti. We really do not ramble in our past thoughts. You're not thinking about the past. Nappa jappanti nagatang. We do not, project to the future and become anxious. Pachupannena yapenti. We are in this moment, right? Evang vanno pasidati. That's how you become happy, content, radiant. Yeah? Now this is how you develop that skill. Just going past your mind. And your mind, mind you, is never designed for you to be happy. Unless and until you really understand it. A lot of people, Acham Sumedu, he said, a lot of people understand. Some stand under it. So so how do we actually develop some kind of meditation practice? Okay? Would you really like to do 5 minutes with me here? Is that okay? Wow, this is great. Yeah. So I thought you'd be waiting for tomorrow. Okay, let's actually sit properly. Okay, when you sit, remember to keep your neck and the back upright, not too stiff, not too sloppy, something really comfy. Yeah? And relax. We all breathe. Take a deep, long breath. Breathing in. And as you breathe in, just, keep checking your body. If there is any stiff, any tension anywhere, just loosen it up. Relax. So bring your attention to breathing. As you breathe in, feeling the incoming air, touching the nostrils, touching the inner skin of the nose, and then breathing out and feel the slight difference in the breath. After a couple of deep, long breaths, just settle in with the normal and natural breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Just notice the rambling thoughts, thinking mind. Try to just drop those thoughts and stay with the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Letting go of the thoughts, any other feelings, sensations, etc. Just anchoring the mind on the breath. Just try to notice the subtle differences in the breathing. Maybe you're feeling some heaviness in your breath. As you keep watching the breath, it gets calmer, it gets subtler, more gentle. The most important part is just making sure the mind is not occupied in thoughts, rolling in thoughts or falling in sleep. Try to keep the mind as alert and awake as you can. If you have trouble in keeping track of the breath, you can start counting, breathing in, 1. Again, breathing in, another 1. So just simply following the breath as it comes in at the point of the nostrils and the inner skin of the nose. As you keep observing the breathing, you can actually feel the subtleties of the breath. Whether it's long, short, medium, warm, cool, whatever. So if your mind is thinking about anything, just make a note. My mind is busy thinking. Let the thoughts just go. Okay, let's take a deep, long breath. Again, feeling the incoming breath coming in, touching the nostrils, touching the inner skin of the nose. If you want to hold it for a second, you can do so, and letting, breathing it out. Okay, so after 3 deep, long breaths, we're going to open our eyes. Okay, so how many of you fell asleep? If you did, don't worry, you know. Sleep is the poor man's nirvana, yeah? So it's okay. Okay to fall asleep. After, a long day of work, probably you got a moment of, that's fine. So, but how many of you felt some bit of relaxation in few minutes? Some of you did. That's great. And more of you, I would have actually seen, if you have a regular meditation, at least for 5-10 minutes a day, I would have seen many more hands going up. Because, as you say, if it is a practice, it just comes so naturally and it really helps. Yeah? I mean, you really don't need 8 hours of sleep. That's actually, these doctors always lie to you, You don't need that. The Buddha slept only 2 hours. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. It's the quality of your sleep. Seriously, people do not know how to sleep. Yeah? So if you really knew how to sleep, you'd really saved a lot of time. So I had a night job one time, and I got actually 20 minutes of a break in between, in the middle of the night. And I was just meditating. And actually that would amount to about 20 hours of really good sleep. If you really know how to sleep, few hours, 1 hour of sleep is like, it's so deep. It's just, we don't get to sleep properly. We don't know how to eat. We don't know how to sleep. And you're saying, I'm all happy. What is this? Okay? So seriously, it is, it's an art. It's a skill to be happy, and also to do other things. If you didn't have enough sleep, you would start worrying, yeah? So sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, oh, why am I awake? 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah? What does it do to you? You start worrying. Oh my God, I have to work tomorrow, don't I? If you are up, enjoy a good cup of tea and a snack. Don't worry. Be happy. Because many times in the night you all wake up. You didn't know. Okay? You just wrap yourself around on a blanket and did this and that. That is nature. But what really makes it worse is the worry. Yeah? As Venerable Dhammananda used to say, fear and worry. Yeah? It's actually that which really eats into your happiness. If I get half an hour of sleep, I am more than happy at night. So if you are a good meditator, you really do not worry about sleep or a lot of things. And this is so important, so precious in achieving happiness. Okay? All right. Now we're going to talk about lotteries. Yeah, Friday lotteries. Okay. How many of you buy lotteries? You don't. Oh my God. I have to get back to UK then. Yeah. So you don't need to buy lotteries because you have already won 4 lotteries. Okay? You are a lottery winner. So you have already been born human. Are we all human? Hopefully. Okay. And the second thing is, all your faculties are intact. You can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can walk, and you can even think. Amazing. So how many of you give credit to that? Only when you can't walk, you start complaining, don't you? Oh. See? How can we become happy? Omar Khayyam once said, I was crying because I didn't have shiny shoes. I look over the window and saw a man without feet singing. Beautiful. So we actually, until we lose our things, we don't appreciate them. We don't value them, do we? We can still see. Wow, amazing. Yeah? You can still hear. Maybe your hearing is gone down. You didn't know, you don't know. And that's why I had to use this stuff. So, but still you can hear. You taste. Faculties are intact. Come on, give credit to that. And the precious, another third lottery is you got your Kalyana Mitras, good friends. Isn't that amazing? You have your good friends. Yeah? Your husband or wife, sometimes they are good friends. Not all the time, okay? So, so you have your friends, and Kalyana Mitra is a specific word in Buddhism who actually help you develop in a noble path. And the Buddha himself is our greatest, ultimate Kalyana Mitra. Yeah? And that's why we just come and pay our respect. Yeah? So, Kalyana Mitra, it's a very specific word. You got them, but only problem is we don't know them. We don't recognize them. Only after talking to them and actually finding Dhamma, we realize that how fortunate we are. Okay? And lastly, there's this Buddha Sasana. Yeah? All around, you come to the Maha Vihara, you see an amazing atmosphere. Amazing. So you have these, lotteries. You have won all of them, but you don't value them enough, do you? Okay? I'm sure you do. Just joking. Okay? So, everybody knows about 4 noble truths. Yeah? And if you really want to be happy, you got to understand your 4 noble truths. Okay? And so I'm going to ask you a question. So the 4 noble truths has you can actually rephrase as, when you go to a doctor, he asks, what's your problem? Okay? And then he detects the cause of the problem. Problem, cause of the problem. And then he actually, then what does he do? Offer, prescribe something. And then the last is you become cured. But I mean, the Four Noble Truth is like that, but there is a slight difference. Do you see a difference? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you numerically, if you say the problem, the cause of the problem, the cure, and the way to cure. Why 1, 2, 3, 4? It's 1, 2, 4, 3. I mean, it's organized in a different way. Anybody has thought about it? Yeah.
So the third noble truth is the goal, or is the aim. So that must be first. You must know the goal until you can detect the way to the goal.
Absolutely.
The way.
Yeah.
You must know first you know the goal and then you know the way.
Exactly. So you really have, I mean, it's like navigator. You have to know exactly where you are going before you start the journey. All right? So, and this is really so important. Nirodha. That knowing the goal itself is an achievement. Because now you know your kind of destination, how to get there. Perhaps you may not be going there right away, but you know the journey. In the Eightfold Noble Path, actually right view, right intention is at the top, because you have to know the journey first. Okay? And then, the right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right, and blah, blah, blah. So, if you have Sila, Samadhi, and Prajna, the Prajna comes first. That's, the journey first. And this is so important. And this is why we have Dhamma talks. We have Dhamma discussions. We actually clarify it. You're not kind of sleepwalking, blindly following. You are fully clear of the path. And that state is called, there's a special word in Buddhism. That knowing state is called what? Sotapanna. Sotapanna, stream enterer. You have entered. Until you enter the stream, you are not on the Eightfold Noble Path. Okay? So we all think that we are on the Eightfold Noble Path. No. Until you actually know your full journey, you're not on the path. Yeah? Sorry. So I mean, we can study it in books and things, but you're not there. So you got to enter that stream. It's like actually when you are, thrown in a stream, you don't know where you end up. You have to get out of the stream and really see the stream, where you are headed. Okay, so that is really, really important. Okay, sorry. Oh, another aspect of actually, now all of these are really important aspects, because to be perfectly happy and content, one really has to put a life into a perspective. You really have to have a proper perspective of life. And we always, have this idea of I, my, me, mine, right? So that is the atta, atta, this idea of self. So long as you are, having this, you will not have a full and complete contentment, happiness. So, anatta is the opposite of that. And the dukkha, the reason why the Buddha put the dukkha at the forefront was dukkha is not to be eliminated, but to be understood. We can't actually eliminate dukkha, but we can understand it. Yeah? So, just think of this sentence. The pain is given, suffering is optional. Pain is given, suffering is optional. So, what does that really mean? So life is full of pain. Yeah? When you have arthritis, or you can start complaining all day. Or you have the choice, Pain is, but you opt out to suffer. Right? So suffering is optional. So Buddhists do not have to suffer. And this is so important in our life. Most of the time, what we do is we unnecessarily suffer on our health, on our wealth, on our, other relationships, everything. Most of it is unnecessary. Right? You agree? Okay, so if you put that into a perspective, you face them, and you're not actually suffering from it. You don't have to. We look at the day. Oh, it's raining early morning. Oh, you can actually be, suffering a lot about that. The weather. In England, everybody is gloomy. They have long faces and all of that. When there is no sun, we have too much sun here. Nobody worries about. It's actually so. Such a minor thing can make you unhappy when we really do not know how to be happy. Yeah? So things that you don't have, things that you have, everything make you unhappy. Yeah? So just let go most of these things, and you really do not have to. If you have children, they are not really listening to you, they're really bothering you, So that they're children, okay? I have 2 children, and I don't, worry about them at all. They hardly listen to me, but that's perfectly okay with me. So see how, we can be unhappy. So choose that path of, not to be affected by these vicissitudes of life, gain and loss. Yeah? Fame and defame, happiness and sorrow, yeah? Praise and blame. Somebody actually blames you for something. Your line manager, oh, that's the irritating person, I have one military guy, yeah? I feel like kicking him, yeah? Some days, but not all the time. But anyway, but just making peace. making peace with things, that is really so important. And most of the time, things do not go on our own way. Yeah? Heathrow Airport is closed tonight, I heard. I'm okay with that, I'm in Kuala Lumpur, anything can happen over there. So, about the world, the wars, yeah, and the Trump, and so many other things keep worrying you. The world politics, yeah. So our minds look for things for us not to be happy, but just letting them go, right? Making peace with them and watching your own mind. What's far more important is just watching that mind, which is responding to all of this, right? About the digital age, the phones, okay? I mean, this is the worst thing in the whole world, yeah? The phones, yeah? But we all have to have it, sadly. So how do we, what is impermanence? Impermanence. And people actually do not understand impermanence. Yeah? We actually posit permanent things and look at the impermanence of that. That's not impermanence. The impermanence is the emptiness of things. Intrinsically, there is nothing. There is absolutely, these are all just our minds. Okay? That's a big topic. We covered that, that day. And if you want another one of those, I will send you a really good article, which will help. Being here helped me to write a few articles as well. So anyway, these three characteristics of existence in the Buddha said, that is vipassana. That's actually putting life into a perspective and do that. So let things change and let, things always change and go with that change without reacting to them. And that's really important. It could be many, many, many things. Yeah? So, anyway, I know I have, oh my God, it's a big page. You will hate me for this, but I'm not going to, discuss all of this. So we have spoken for about 1 hour. We didn't feel that, did we? Okay, good. And you can't blame me now. This is okay. So anyway, let's pause it for a moment. So let you ask questions. Any questions you wish to ask? Anything that I said or didn't say? Have I said anything about death? Probably not. No. So why did I not talk about death? Oh, that scares everybody, yeah? I don't want to hear about death, yeah? Okay? But that's the most important topic, okay? So I'll come to that. So let's say about life, happiness, contentment, peace, all of this. Any questions or anything you would like to comment? Okay?
Is there any way you can have best of both worlds? You said travel, sun and fun, or sati, all the things you said.
Absolutely.
Is there a way,
Yeah. That's a really good question. And you think I'm going to deprive you of the sun and the fun and everything? No. Just come on, have all of it. I do that all the time. I'm just, So only thing is we really do not know how to enjoy. We get our annual leave. What do? we actually take all our mobile phones, laptops, all that rubbish with us, and we ruin our holidays. When you go on a holiday, just throw those things away and enjoy your company. So stop at a tree and just keep watching, looking at the tree and the leaves and, sun and everything. So it's not that we really know how to enjoy life. We don't. That is our problem. We don't know. We don't enjoy do we enjoy our food? Yeah, but, some of you do. That's good. But how long do you take to eat your food? About 30 minutes. Oh my God, that's a really good. You're lucky. Some of us get about 5-10 minutes maximum. No. If you sit down and eat, and you sit down with a friend, have a chat, talk, and so it's so important to, enjoy, your holidays and everything. So, that's a really good question. So, anything that you do, just enjoy it. Your company, everything you do, the Buddha says, I want you to enjoy. Only thing is you don't know how. Okay? You rush it and, ruin it. Okay? So it's actually the combining, and that's actually mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just, it is the Western form of mindfulness. People think mindfulness is just sitting on the far corner on a cushion. No. That's total opposite. Okay? The real mindfulness, right mindfulness, we're going to talk about tomorrow. So please come to those sessions and you will know more about it. Okay? So it's just actually combining, joining, going for a walk. Do you know how to walk? Oh, if you do, you are lucky. But I bet, 90% of you don't. And you will never get a chance to walk. Yeah? We look at things, we don't see them. We listen to people, we don't hear them. We eat our food. When was the last time you tasted it? You just swallow it. Yeah? And you walk about, you hardly feel your feet on the ground. And this is called 21st century, most exotic, sophisticated human being on the planet. Come on. You can do much better than that. Okay? So, but we don't know how. That is our problem. So, learning how to enjoy, stop and think and enjoy. That is so good. So, anyway, any more questions? Yeah. Consciousness, yeah? Chanda, Virya, Chitta, yeah? Oh, 4 Iddhipada. Oh, anyway, I'm this was not meant to be going over all of this, yeah, but the, Chanda, Virya, Chitta, yeah? Vimansa. Now, Chitta here means the objective intention, the purpose, right? Holding on to that purpose. 4 Iddhipadas. Chanda, Chitta, Chitta is like you really getting, into your mind, yeah? But that's really good question. So these are 37 factors of enlightenment. I can come back to Maha Vihara many more times because a lot more to learn, okay? So, yeah. So, but But just wrapping up, how long have I got? Just unlimited. Go on till midnight. Okay, good, great. I will. Okay, so actually, this is, this you think, what is this guy saying? Does he have to come and say these things? How to make us happy, and blah blah. No, we do. If you really go close to the Pali Canon, the Buddha was actually asking us, challenging us, and in the Satipatthana, so the sutta on the mindfulness, the Buddha says, he specified every aspect of this, yeah. So, how and what we should develop, how we should develop this practice in order for us to attain the entire freedom, the full freedom, the happiness, the contentment. Okay, so okay, now let's go get to the second topic. Okay, the death. Yeah. So how many of you know about the death? No one does, Oh, come on. Yeah, you don't know anything about death. No? Do you want to demonstrate? Perhaps not here, okay? So, death is such an amazing thing. If you knew how to really live, that death is such an incredible, amazing experience. I tell you that, seriously, it is such an incredible experience. So a lot of people really do not know how to die. And they don't want to talk about death. Yeah? How many of you are honestly ready for death? No, you are, okay. Good man, excellent. And that's brilliant. That's really brilliant. See, most of us, a lot of us worry about, I can't go because of X, Y, and Z. Come on, when you have to leave, you have to leave. Sorry. So, nobody's going to stop. So, and the fear, and the worst thing is, if you really die with fear, your next birth is not going to be good. So just remove that fear of death right here and right now. If I have to go right now, right here, we can facilitate that. So just, develop some joy about death. If you have a good life, if you have contentment, if you're a really happy person, there's no reason to be afraid of it, worry about it. Yeah? Just say, okay, I've done it millions of times before. You have done it many, many times, I can tell you. But why do you worry about it and have any fear of it now? Because of our attachment, our grasping. Oh, I have to do this beforehand, come on. No. So Bhante Gunaratana, he's called Bhante Ji, who has actually lived here. He has boarded a plane in Atlanta, and the plane has gone on fire, actually one engine, seen seriously big fire, and everybody is seeing that, oh my God, can you imagine what is happening inside the plane? Yeah? But Bhante Ji, what has he done? Just wonderful, amazing. I'm going to get a free cremation now. Yeah, he's just, probably the temple will get some insurance as well. So he's just actually sat back and really enjoyed. I mean, just be ready for that. If something has to happen, something that can happen anytime, tonight. Yeah? I'm not wishing that for you. But it can happen, my friend. Today, one of my best friends' husband, just he was returning from work, met with an accident, died on the spot. And, my friend she's in kind of a big shock. I mean, I can imagine that. But what if she was prepared for that? And the worst thing is we don't know how to prepare ourselves for death. Yeah? So it's so important that we prepare for it any moment. Yeah? If you have done, I've written a book, I've done my studies, I've done my lectures at the Buddhist Maha Vihara. If I had to go tonight, I am ready. Okay? So, don't postpone it. Yeah? Procrastination is a thief of time. Okay? Do not do that. So, if it going to happen any moment, just face it with a smile. Death. Okay? So, but most of you will disagree with me. Oh, easier said than done. No. If you are a really Buddhist, I mean, look what the Buddha did. The Buddha actually, he was sick, but at the time of death, he was, very, very peaceful. Really peaceful. And do this same thing for somebody who is dying. And that is the, worst thing that we do. We don't let people die properly. Yeah? And a lot of the time, actually in the hospital in UK, the patients have told me, the, terminally ill people, please don't let my family come and see me. Because they don't let people die. It's so sad. I mean, in this more advanced, world of ours, people have no clue about death. Yeah? And they don't facilitate people dying. And very soon in the UK, there will be a sister dying, passing, the bill, hopefully, So, if people have to peacefully die, why not? That preparation is so important. Do you disagree? No? So, in the military, whenever we send soldiers to the war, the battlegrounds, we actually give them a number, tag, and everything, prepare them for death. And they are ready for that. And amazing soldiers, young and brave soldiers, they are very much ready for that. Has anybody done soldiering here? Military? No? Okay. So, I have been really amazed how prepared they are, And they actually, say goodbye to their families and do this and do that. That's beautiful. So why can't we do that? Okay? And so therefore the fear of death is taken away, and we are no longer dying confused. And that's the worst kind of death that can happen. Yeah? And if you are a really good Buddhist, you should be ready for that, anytime with such a smile, very happy, mode. Okay? So, I invite you to actually, one part of our chaplaincy work is really helping people to die. Yeah? And, really, not in a bad way, really good way, because, it's like if you prepare for, people for other things, for a wedding, it's like dressing a person for a wedding. You dress a person for a death. So why not? So why are we running away from our life? And we all one day, sadly has to face it. So, but we are so reluctant to even think about that day. And as a Buddhist, you don't, right? You don't. So, if you have a really good life, the death comes so naturally. Okay? All right. So, tonight I'm not going to actually make it any longer. So tomorrow we'll have a full day of mindfulness and right mindfulness practice, and so we'll discuss some topics and how to develop happiness, contentment, sati, dhammavicaya, virya, piti, passaddhi, samadhi, and upekkha. So the 7 factors of enlightenment, okay, bojjhangas. So I was, as I said, as Leslie said, 18 years as a Buddhist monk, and I have really thoroughly enjoyed the teaching the scriptures in the Pali, Sanskrit, and amazing thing is I studied linguistics because I wanted to get into the nuances of things, because sometimes you miss the translation. In translation, you miss the meaning. So it is therefore important to learn those words like things like impermanence, anicca. And I had a completely different view of that until I actually got to the bottom of the suttas, anicca sanya sutta. It's so important. And one thing is, as I said the other day, if you understand one word, anicca, the Buddha says, you know it all. If you don't understand it, you haven't got it. Maybe you have come to 1,000 or 100, talks, but you still don't know. Yeah? Understanding those anicca, dukkha, and anatta is so precious, so important for a Buddhist. Okay? So, not in an ordinary worldly way, but in a deep way, right? So it's like a difference between a fish and the turtle. Yeah, the fish really doesn't know anything about the land. So everything, and anytime you describe the land to a fish, he's thinking about the inside water. But the turtle who goes both in the land and so the Kalyana Mitras are like turtles. Okay, they go both in there and get to the subtleties of things. So understanding anicca, dukkha, anatta is so precious, so important. Okay, all right. So I'm going to end our talk here. Unless you have any other questions, anything, any comments? Yeah?
Live a long life, do whatever he can and to delay the death. How in Buddhism that is treated?
Excellent question. Yeah. So, I mean, in Buddhism, the same thing. I mean, if you can, I mean, this human life is so precious, means, you know, every second, every minute you should live, you should admire, and extending, expanding, all that is, if you are conscious. But if you are on a machine, brain dead, whether you want to continue forever, that's a different matter. Okay? But try to extend it. That's in line with Buddhism, because human life is so precious, and you really do not know in which moment you're going to click, understand that the Buddha's message, right? So therefore, just live as long. I mean, just because I praise death doesn't mean you have to go sooner, okay? So. Exactly. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So it is, you can plan about the future, you can learn from the past, but don't, get hung up on those and live there. You are here and now. Okay, right here, right now. So enjoy that moment without indulging in the future unnecessarily. And the fear, that's how the fear comes. Yeah?